Welcome to another Harris-Elmore and Genoa's Libraries podcast with me, Ariel and Sierra. Yay!
I do the same thing every time. I don't know what to do with my hands. So I either do like, jazz hands or I clap.
Usually I just am like whipping around and then I disappear.
I don't know what to do with myself.
It's like Sesame Street.
I don't know how to sit still. My hands always have to be doing something. I have like silly putty that I could play with and I always forget it. Because I learned my lesson on the very first podcast we ever did. I had a clicky pen and it was keeping my hands really busy, which was great. But in the video, it was too close to the microphone and you could hear every single time I clicked the pen. It's like the worst noise through the entire podcast.
The podcast has come a long way though since then. You know, we've learned
some things. And I think we did it a second time because I believe we started in June of 2020. So we've been doing the podcast for 2 years last month. We forgot to do the whole birthday celebration thing. We forgot to do it last year. So 2 years going strong. I think people are still listening to us. I think.
So far, we have a solid 8 or 9 people, sometimes 12 on a good month.
No, have you looked at the stats on Facebook, though?
Not on Facebook, no. This is just purely our digital platform.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Of listeners, yeah.
Just the listeners. Yeah, so we started, I think last year at some point, posting all of our video versions of the podcast on the Elmore Library Facebook page. And that has like hundreds of views every month. Just for the video version. So
dang, oh man,
people are watching, which is cool.
That's like awesome, but also like scary at the same time.
I can see what you mean there, but like it definitely boosted my morale where like I look and be like, oh, 8 people listened to it this month. And then I look on Facebook and I'm like, oh my gosh, 500 people watched the video. That's so much more than I would have ever thought.
Wow. It just like mind boggles me. Are we that entertaining? Like that's pretty awesome.
That's what I think. Are we that entertaining? Sometimes I don't feel like it.
Yeah, maybe they just like our personalities.
I'm maybe, I don't know. I listen to other people's podcasts and like they're real funny or like they have great jokes and improv and I'm like, I don't have any of that. I don't feel funny. I don't tell jokes.
Yeah, it's either that or they just like to watch, I guess, which that's cool too. Like,
I'm not upset sure. I don't mind. I mean, the edits are always really great. So I'm not taking credit for that. I'm just saying edits are really cool.
I mean, wow, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm so glad you shared that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I was unsure. I just recently found out like a month ago. I was looking at stats to see like, oh, how much people are watching on our YouTube page. It's not a lot, but I love watching stuff on Facebook Live or just like the Facebook Watch stuff. So I hadn't really considered like our stuff being on there, but I can see where people are coming from. It's already on Facebook. I do that all the time. I'm just like bored and I'll go to the Facebook Watch stuff and it's stupid. I watch a lot of 5-minute crafts.
Not at all. Have you seen? So I like the 5-minute crafts, but there's also this place. It's called like Troom Troom, which is like a Canadian like. I don't know what it is, but it's supposed to be like this Canadian like YouTube channel where they like pull pranks and do crafts that they just don't work. And that's what it reminded me of. Yeah. And I was like, no. I know. I like the real crafts that actually work.
It's like a ridiculous, like 5-minute crafts are usually ridiculous anyways. Like no one's ever going to try that. It's more complicated. It's messy. It doesn't really help life, but like for some reason I still watch them. And then for a long time, I don't even know why, everything in my Facebook Watch, I was not looking this stuff up. It was like a recommended for me. It was all Brad Mondo coloring his hair. So I was watching tons of videos of Brad Mondo dyeing his hair different colors. I don't even watch Brad Mondo.
Sometimes the internet does funny things.
It's like, hey, I think you'll like this. Stupid me, I watched it. It suggested it.
Did you learn anything?
He has really nice hair. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to hair color.
That's cool, because I don't do too much with my hair anyway, so.
Oh, I don't either. My sister loves dyeing her hair, and I don't. I've never dyed my hair.
I would like to try it eventually, but I don't know. It just seems so costly depending on what your budget is, and then you have to do the upkeep, and I don't know.
Well, also, like, because our hair is so dark, you would probably have to bleach it if you wanted to do like a real crazy color. And that is like super damaging your hair if it's not done right. So I have like no desire to do the bleaching just for that. My hair is already changing color on its own. So
see, I wouldn't do like any crazy colors. I always talked about it, but like it kind of looks like there could be some red and like lighter colors, so maybe some highlights. I could see that being something. But that's
I think you could pull off highlights. You can't see it on camera, and you probably can't see it unless I comb my hair properly. But I do have like these long white strands like right on the top of my head. So I'm convinced I'll go white and not gray. And then I was trying to like fix my hair before coming in today. So I was trying to straighten it a little bit. And I was like pulling
how'd that go with the heat?
I was like it was hot. It was very hot.
It's summer. It's Frizz City here.
I did not do very well with it. But as I was like parting the back and pulling my hair forward, I could find like more white strands. And I'm like, that's a lot of white hair for me being in my 20s.
I have hair like that too. And I'm like, ooh. It happens. I had an uncle, by the time he was 18, he had almost a full head of hair of like gray hair. So unless that's what my dad told me to make me feel better, but it worked. So I tell people that as well. So.
Well, do you ever think like there's a ton of guys out there, and I feel like men have it worse, where like they could be in their early 30s and lose all of their hair? Why is that?
Well, one, genetics, two, stress, but I've seen women like that do that too. It's just, I think it affects a woman differently, like for most men, just more psychologically because of society and stuff that's kind of conditioned for a certain image or a certain protocol, if you will. But like most guys that I know that are like thinning hair and have grays are like, oh, I don't care. It's just hair. I'm like, oh my God, if that were me, I think I'd be crying. I don't want to cry.
No, I think it's worse. Most women have really long hair. I shouldn't say most. The majority of them do. So like that makes it worse if you're like used to having really long hair and you're losing your hair. Like,
and they have stuff like you could get, but wow, we really
I don't know what's happening. Over there. This isn't at all what we had planned or wanted
Maybe
to discuss.
That's why people watch, because they're like, what are they going to talk about today?
No one knows.
We don't either.
Hair today.
Oh. Rightfully so. I guess we should really talk about like what's happening. It's the July podcast.
Right. It's July, which means we're in the middle of summer reading already at each library.
It's like mind-boggling to me how like,
you know what? We were talking about this over at Elmore because we lost like 2 years with COVID.
Yeah.
So we did summer reading, but it was very low key. And the first year COVID hit, like the doors were locked. We had tables sitting outside of our door that had all of our papers on it. If you wanted prizes, you had to knock on the door, tell us what prizes you were getting. We would run back to our computer, type everything in, and bring the prizes to the door. So we lost like 2 years because then last year we had a regular summer reading and most people were still staying inside and not going out and doing programs. So we really didn't see a whole lot. This year, it is like back on full blast. Everybody wants to read. Everybody's coming to programs. Like one of our first programs we did here had 66 people. We had not seen those kind of numbers in over 2 years. So we were talking about it over here at Elmore because we've all worked here long enough to have seen really, really high numbered, crazy, chaotic summer readings. and almost everybody at Genoa got hired right previous to 2020. So most of you guys have not experienced the chaos that is summer reading. This is your first year for it.
Honestly, so I think about stuff like that a lot too, especially like for staff that haven't worked in a library before. So I've been in the game for over 10 years. So like you see different types of communities and different programming and the numbers. And it's insane because my last summer reading was also very chaotic and very crazy. Yeah. And then when I came here, and then it was like, yay, everything's great. I love my community. And then it was like, douche. Yep. The ending was coming.
Yep. Yeah. It's great though. I love that so many people are interested in reading right now and everything. And like we have really cool prizes this year for everybody, even for the adults and everything. So I have been trying to sign up. A lot of older people come in and I'm like, you can win this really cool campfire mug. And they're all like, really? So I am trying to like really push and get adults reading this year.
Yes. I'm glad you're doing that because I know there's quite a few libraries, depending on where you live, like even in this area, that do not do summer reading for adults, which I think is just a crime. Right? Sue them. They just, unless they think of programming like higher, like dollar amount programming maybe as like their alternative. But I am so excited. Like I went to our chamber meeting and I was like, you guys, this is what we have going on. This is like your prize that you can win. We do grand prize tickets. And they were like, oh my God. And I was like, yes, like please, this is why we're here. Come read, come win some stuff.
Right. And you know, that's a big incentive, honestly, winning stuff. My grandma has decided to come. We have a program happening tonight at the library, which is the indoor bingo. And I told her about it last month. And she's like, oh, I thought about it, but then it got kind of late and I decided not to come out. And I'm like, it's a bunch of ladies that are your age and you win prizes if you win a bingo. And she's like, oh, you win stuff? So like, she's coming tonight with one of her friends.
Yay!
Like, yeah.
I'm thinking about coming.
We have a good turnout, but yeah.
It just sounds kind of fun. I want to win some stuff.
So yeah, I love showing people the prizes and being like, you could have grand prize entries to these 4 things. And if you read 3 books, you win this really cool mug. And you get a sign-up prize. So like, yeah, there's a little more happening this year for adults.
Honestly, and a lot of feedback that I've gotten from the adults, because I've given out quite a few, which I'm quite excited about. And they're like, these are so nice.
I don't know how many I've given out yet, but yeah, I do love pushing them.
I'm like, you can take them camping, you can drink in it, you know, like if you're at work, you can have your little cup of coffee in there, have some grape soda, whatever you want.
I keep telling people because they're like, I have too many cups at home. And I'm like, then make it a pencil holder. You don't have to drink out of it. I have 19 mugs on my dresser and some of them hold beads. One's for money. Some has makeup that I never use. Some have pencils in it. Like, I have 19 mugs that I don't
leave it at work. I've done that.
Yeah.
Michael gets upset with me because I like mugs and I like to buy a mug when I go places. So you can never have enough mugs.
And I also have quite a few mugs, but I only use them in the wintertime for hot chocolate because I am a caffeine-free person. I don't drink coffee or tea or anything. So I have tons of mugs that only get used in the winter months. I could drink water out of them, but I don't.
Well, hot chocolate doesn't have caffeine in it, right?
Yeah, that's sugar. What I mean. I only drink hot chocolate in the winter, though. I don't usually drink it in the summer because it's hot out.
Yeah, I do drink like tea sometimes, but I like decaffeinated tea as well. It doesn't taste really different to me, but
I'm not a huge tea drinker to begin with, though. I do have decaf tea, but I'm just not a huge tea drinker to begin with.
Or stress relief tea, that's good.
I could drink decaf coffee, but it tastes like sadness, so I have to really be in the mood for it. And honestly, like, I've gone so long without drinking anything with caffeine in it that, like, it doesn't really bother me that I don't drink it anymore. It's just...
I just
drink water. You know? I'm excited because... I don't know what's happening to this podcast because I'm just saying anything that comes to mind, I get excited. Excuse me. I found at the store, I was shopping the other day, and I'm always looking for something other than water to drink. but juice is usually really sugary, syrupy. I love Izzy, which is sparkling juice.
Oh, those are good.
I love Izzy. But again, you don't want to drink it all the time because it's sugary, it's carbonated, and I don't really like carbonated drinks because they tend to upset my stomach.
Oh, that's a fair point. I was gonna say I like the massage it gives me in the throat.
Oh, it's okay. Mouth feels fine. It's just my stomach doesn't like it once it gets down there.
If you have like a tickle, I like the bubbles in carbonated beverages.
But like, I was in the store the other day and I found mineral water. I think it's what it's called, or miracle water. Mineral water. So you're looking at me real funny.
I'm just like, because the way our cameras are, I'm like looking over here instead of at like the camera itself. And I'm like, all right, trying to like, I'm following along so far. I'm really focused.
No, it's just flavored water, but they all have like each different flavor has like a certain set of like vitamins and minerals in it. So like you're getting your daily doses of like vitamin D in this one. There was one that it didn't taste as good, but it was fiber. It was like a fiber drink, and it's water. Really? It's all just flavored water, and it has sets of like a different set of vitamins in each of them. And I love it because it's just flavored water, and that's all I drink anyways is water. So I was looking for like, if I ever want something other than water, my go-to is usually like a Capri Sun or something. It's like nice I don't drink anything else other than water. So it's nice that I found this. I'm enjoying it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the fiber one is entirely sugar-free and it didn't taste as good, but I could probably get used to that flavor. It had, I could see that. What's the sugar alternative? Like stevia or something.
Oh yeah.
So it had that flavor.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay. I'm stopping us.
Yes, do. Get us on here. Some sort of track.
Yeah, speaking of historical reference, July. We're here.
Yeah, it's July.
Month of celebration. 4th of July. Independence. Pew, 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 pew. Fireworks. Independence. Hooray. So yeah, if you guys did not know, 1776, we have been with our independence and freedoms for, over 200 years at least. So go America, go us. Go us for being different. So usually it's a celebrate a little bit different probably since when it actually originally occurred. Right. So, picnics, we do fireworks, we have parades, but we definitely don't like to forget people, whether they're around or not around, of everything that they've done so we can keep our independence and received it in the first place. So we just want to make sure to thank those that,
fought, so
sacrifice that stuff and just be grateful, because it could be really different right now and you probably wouldn't enjoy it.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I prefer the way I live. So yes. I'm very happy. Yay.
We take a lot for granted. Freedom. Yeah. It means so much more than that. And we just take everything for granted. There's a lot of people today that aren't free like we are. So just never forget that.
USA. I feel like that's more the Olympics, like USA.
Oh, yeah. A little bit there.
Yeah, so of course we want to mention that and make a shout out and be just grateful. And just in case you didn't know, you're a new citizen. I hope you know because you passed your test, hopefully. If not, if you're born and raised here and didn't know that, please go read a book, which we happen to have a ton of.
Oh, wow. We're libraries or something.
Yeah. Books. Yeah, just, some key points of history for America, which, would be beneficial to know. Maybe you'll be on How to Be a Millionaire or, a trivia show.
Oh, you know what's a cool book we just got in? It's a kid's book, but it's called Weird Pets of Presidents.
Yes, I ordered that.
Oh, so you guys got it too?
Yeah. Is that great?
It's really cool. Yeah, because like someone owned like a bear. I don't know who owned what, but like crazy pets.
Yeah, I ended up like, once I know what people like to read, what type of things that we're missing, I go on the hunt. And so then I came across that and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
Yes,
So I was very
it is
excited
very
to
cool.
acquire that. So I can't wait to read it when it comes to our side.
Yeah, I
After
looked at it a little bit. I can't even remember what some of the crazy pets were now, but it's just not normal pets.
Yeah, there's just some that are just bananas. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about it last podcast. But Harry Potter, that's another thing happened in July.
Yep.
He turns 42.
That blew my mind. That's why I had to put that on there. Like, oh my God, Harry's 42 this year. Yes. Whoa. Yeah. Last
And
year we
this
did
is
like
the actual character. This is not Daniel Radcliffe.
right.
Just to clarify.
Excuse me as I pull my phone up. I want to know how old Daniel Radcliffe is now.
I was gonna say I think he's only like 34, maybe.
He's 32.
Oh, okay. So close,
Yep.
close. Yeah, and so last time we did play the Harry Potter virtual escape room, which I thought was pretty challenging, honestly.
It was for sure, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And I think if you missed that episode, you can go back and watch it. It was last July's, and we left a link down in the description. You could play the actual virtual escape room. So
yeah, I think it was fun. We had a great time doing it, honestly. I don't know if I don't remember how long it took us to actually finish it though. So you might just go ahead when you're at home. Just go ahead and do it. See how long it takes you.
Yeah, I don't even remember how long it took us.
Yeah, it seems so long ago. So much has happened since then. It's just like one thing after another.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah, so there's just a couple of things. It's just going to be a fun podcast. And of course, since we already kind of briefly talked a little bit about summer reading, but for those that do not know, Oceans of Possibility is our theme for this year. So it's all ocean related, creature related, everything water. It's just meant to be fun, just fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are in a little bit here. We are going to do a little game, which we love the games. Big fan. But we're going to talk about reading first. So you have to stay. Gotcha.
Yeah. If you're interested, you have to wait.
Yeah.
The game's really cool. Like I know what the like conceptually what it looks like and everything. I have it pulled up on my like down on my screen that I'll share with you guys in a little bit. But Nathan whipped it up in a day. So it looks really cool for only having a day to work on it. So yeah. What are you reading right now?
I'm actually between books. So for my book group, last month, we read Sold on a Monday by Christina Morris, which is about this news reporter. Two news reporters find each other, but it starts off with one and how he's driving through the countryside and he sees these two kids, and there's a sign close to the children, but it's not actually for the kids. And it's called Children for Sale is on the actual post. And so he stages this photo and then puts it in the paper. And so people go bananas, and then they end up like buying the kids, and the parents end up selling the kids even though they kind of didn't want to. And
was that like that World War II thing with the kids sitting on the steps?
The Great Depression.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation too that original photo, which the book is based off of, so very good catch.
I've seen the photo. I just didn't know when it was from, but I thought it was.
Yes, because it's the wording, it looks almost embellished. The wood looks new. So a lot of people are talking about speculation of they staged it so they could make money, and people ended up like giving this family money so they could keep the kids and stuff.
Right.
And so I guess according to the author, she did some follow-up, and I'm trying to remember what she said verbatim, but I don't think I'll get that. Said that I guess they still were sold for only like $2 to be farm labor.
Oh.
And so like, yeah. And so like some of the kids didn't get reunited because they died, some did. So it's interesting. So I'm not going to say the ending or anything, but it was definitely a good fictional read, not nonfiction by any means, but it's still based off of like things that happened during that time period.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, which if you want, you're looking for a book group, Genoa morning book group with me, Ariel. Every third Thursday, 9:30. Come join. We have a lot of good reads. The next one we're doing is That Summer by Jennifer. Oh no, I don't remember.
Weiner?
Yes, thank you, Weiner. Yes, I pronounced it incorrectly at my book group, and I was like, I'm so sorry, ladies.
Oh, I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. I've never actually heard it said, but
yes, because there's the audio where I like downloaded it on Libby. So if you don't have the digital app, Libby.
Oh yeah, I use Libby all the time.
And it did the app where it was Jennifer Weiner. Yeah. Before I actually started listening to it for reals.
It's fun. If you work in a library for long enough, someone can say the first name of any author. And usually, like, you can just automatically say the last name. Because you show it long enough, like, you're just like, oh, Janet. And someone else will be like, Daly. Like, you just get used to that.
That, Ivanovich, I mean, who do you want? Like, what are you feeling?
You just say your first name and you can usually pick out the last name.
Yeah, because normally my group doesn't meet in the summer, but we're trying it this year. So we're seeing if we're liking it or not.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you need some new gal pals, or, a fella not sure if you like it, come on in. We're there. We're chit-chatting. We'll get you a book. If you're unsure, come talk to me. I'm here almost every day.
I'm sure it's funner than like most people probably think. Like, it's actually really cool to get into a book and discuss it with other people that are also really into it.
Yeah, and I always leave in a good mood afterwards. Like, even when I'm tired some Thursdays, I'm like, oh, I got book group. And then I get there and then I start talking and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had so much fun. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's nice. You can bring a cup of coffee with you. Bring what you tea. It doesn't bother us.
I had don't do this, but I was gonna say I had a rock painting night once, and this lady came in with a big tumbler, and I'm like, oh, she's got water. I mean, people put water or coffee in their tumbler. It was full of wine.
Well, I mean,
don't do that.
Be upset with that. Yeah, please don't do that on library property. That's a no-no.
Yeah. I didn't know what to say at that point. I'm just like, oh, okay.
You're like, yeah, just don't do that again. That's against the rules. So are you reading anything?
I'm also in between books because I started one and then I started listening to another one on Libby, and then I wasn't listening to it fast enough. So
you returned it.
It was gonna return it, and I'm like, oh, I can renew it. And I went to renew it, and they're like, your provider, Libby, no longer has this audio in its system. So I can't even get a hold of the audiobook anymore. I probably could in a roundabout way if I put in a different library card and checked other systems, but I didn't do that. We have the book on shelf, so I started just reading the physical copy since I was already halfway through. So it's The Maidens by...
What? Really?
Alex?
We don't have that?
Michaelides? On Libby anymore? No.
Oh my gosh. Because have you read The Silent Patient? That's the first book.
I listened to that one.
We're reading that in August from my book group. And I've read it before and I was like, we have to read this. It's so good.
I will literally take the day off work to come to your group because I downloaded it to listen to because I'm like, I see this one checked out a lot, or like I talk about. So I downloaded it to listen to on my commute to and from work. And I got so invested. I was listening to it for hours a day just while I was working at home. Like, I could not physically get enough of this book. Like, I had to know what was happening.
Yeah.
Well, I finished it almost entirely outside of my car. So I was excited to listen to The Maidens because British people are really fun to listen to. And I love the way he tells stories. Like, he's a great author. I'm sad to say I am not as intrigued by this book. Like, The Silent Patient is so incredible.
Immaculate.
And I feel like this one started out much slower. Now that I'm in like the middle of the book, I'm getting way more intrigued.
Just wait. You wait.
Because I know The Silent Patient did that. Like, the last few chapters, I was like literally sitting in front of my phone with my mouth agape. Like, what just happened? Oh my God. So I'm excited because like I'm in the middle of the book and it's getting way more interesting. And I see something happening with one of the characters that like I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but
Yeah. So
it's
when you finish it, you let me
interesting.
know. I'll be over here.
Yeah. So I am excited to finish that one. Before I started listening to that one, I had started the book called The Ravaged, which is by Norman Reedus. He wrote this year. This is his first book. Are you yawning or sneezing?
I was yawning. I just
Okay.
was trying to, like,
she,
be a little
she covered her mouth
it.
the way you do when you're gonna sneeze. So I was getting ready to say bless you, but the sneeze never came.
No,
okay.
I just trying to like not be too like pop my head off the side.
Yep. I adore Norman Reedus, so I was really looking forward to his book. And I'm sad to say it did not grab me right when I started reading it. Like I was kind of hoping it would. So I did not get very far into it, and I actually need to return it because there's a hold on it and I forgot to bring it back today.
Well, yeah, I do that sometimes too.
Yes, I definitely need to bring that back tomorrow because someone's waiting for it. But I'll probably try to read it again in the future when I can like have time to really just sit and read. The summers, like it's just too busy and I don't really have time to read. That's why I go to audiobooks so much in the summer.
It's my favorite time to read in the summer, but like there's too much stuff going on in my personal life.
Oh yeah, I have way more time to read the winter because you're not doing anything outside except shoveling snow. So
yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't I don't have as much time in the winter, so I put it down. I'm gonna return it and I'll try to read it again later. So yeah,
I find that the best thing to do, honestly, because like sometimes like if you want to read it but you're still unsure, I always like put it down and then I come back a little bit later because sometimes it wasn't the right time.
I've done that a lot this year. There's a lot of books that I've started and put down that are still on my list. Like I'm gonna get to it, just not right now.
Yeah, and I've had like a lot of people like for my book group in the morning, we've had some heavy books and it was like heavy next month, heavy. And it was like, dear God, wait. And sometimes you just need a break between whatever you're reading. Sometimes
you need something lighthearted or funny.
Yeah.
So
Fanny Flag's really good for that. If anybody needs recommendations, I do enjoy Miss Flag with 2 G's.
Flag. Yep.
Miss Fanny. Yeah, so I would highly recommend that one for a good uplifting author, because you don't feel like Mitch Albine.
Yeah.
The one that 5 people you meet in heaven, like his, I think, are can be uplifting, but they get really depressed before you get there.
I actually haven't read any of his. Amazingly enough, I've never even read The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Yeah, I've seen the movie, but they're not the same, in my opinion.
But yeah, I feel like it is kind of a heavy subject a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we got whatever you need. You want some thriller, you want some murder, you want some feel good, like we got it.
And I kid you not, now that she said they're reading The Silent Patient in, what'd you say, August?
Yes, that's when we meet for it. So we technically get it this month, actually. So we pick it up in July and then discuss in August.
If you hear this when this podcast comes out, you need to go to the library and get that book. You can even come to Elmore and we'll order it for you. So you can join the book group in August, because it's just an incredible book and it's not what you expect.
I'm so glad I picked it up when I did, because when it first came out, there wasn't as hype for it. So I was like, oh, this just sounds good.
Right.
It maybe took me 3 days. Maybe that's how like a book has not entranced me so much in a very long time. And I was like sitting in the tub, minding my own business, like I bought the book. It was great because I borrowed it and then I was like, I need to keep this. So then I had to buy it.
Oh, I do that too.
Yeah. Get my little like story while I'm relaxing. Like, yes.
Yeah. That's what I remember seeing it when it first kind of came out and people were reading it and it was a book group thing. I think we did it here, maybe at the Wine Flight book group, like ages ago. So I didn't read it then, but I remember seeing the book cover and everything. So when I got on Libby a month ago, I was just scrolling through like what's popular because I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to listen to. I just wanted something. So I found like, oh, I remember seeing stuff for this. I remember people reading this. Like, this might be interesting. And oh my God, it was. I definitely got exactly what I was looking for. So highly recommend.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I lost my train of thought. Because I was going to say it's now 5 o'clock, but that doesn't matter to you guys what time it is that we're recording.
It's more so for us.
It just matters more for Ariel that we need to probably move on to our game.
Yes.
I'm so excited for so long.
Yeah, and don't get us started on the silent patient because we could be talking about that for a while.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing my sound, and I'm gonna put my hand up and cover the side of my screen so that I'm not seeing any of the things on the side yet.
Oh God, I see what you mean now.
Don't look at it.
I saw the first one. I'm sorry.
So what did I say?
I was looking at our side. I was like, oh, she must mean the side that you're on for our Zoom. And then I went to the other side and I'm like, oh no.
All right, let me move us around. It is, if I click on the screen, it'll just move right along, and I don't want it to do that yet. So the way this game works is this is a slideshow. I click on the screen. It's called Ocean Animal Sounds. So it will give us a little microphone with a little animal noise. Hopefully Ariel can hear it. I'm going to turn it up a little bit on my end as well. So it'll give us a little animal sound, and we have to guess what animal is making that noise. I'm going to pull up a piece of paper here and keep track of our points. Write down our names.
Yeah, I have my phone to help keep track of the time, so I was able to put my phone over to the side to cover up the responses.
Yes. So each animal noise that we get right will be worth a point. If we get it wrong, we don't get a point. And then we'll see who's has the most points in the end. I didn't explain that very well, but you'll get the idea once we get started. So let's move on to our first animal sound here.
I cannot participate because I did see this first one.
It sounds like
was thinking of a different animal when I heard that. I was thinking seagull.
It sounds like a bird. Yeah, does ocean animal bird count?
Sure, why not?
Is that or like that's not a dolphin noise, right?
I don't think so. I don't know many seagulls to sound that chirpy either.
It's like I'm trying to think of another seabird. If you're gonna say seagull, I want to say auklet.
That is very specific. You may just want to see what the answer is for this one. Okay. You'll be surprised.
Not an auklet. That's my guess. Final answer. Where's my cursor keeps disappearing. Wait, how do I change my screen?
You might be able to just use your
I clicked. No. It's a penguin.
Oh, I see it.
Okay. Now. Don't look at the side of the screen.
I am not doing that now. I've made my little barricade.
Oh, you have like your phone up there?
Yeah, just off to the side so it blocks off like the panel of PowerPoints. Okay,
well, I didn't think penguin at all.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard a penguin make a noise.
I was gonna say, oblivious, really.
Nope. Okay, so no points for us that round. Do I have to scroll? How do I get to the,
that's the second one.
This is the
first one. This is the first one, sorry. Second page.
Oh, there, if I just scroll. There. Sorry. You know what?
We're learning.
I'm gonna move this over here. I think. I don't know. I don't know what's better. My gosh, Nathan, I'm messing everything up. Give me. I'm holding my hand over the screen so I don't see anything else. So next sound. A sea pig?
I was gonna say, I was thinking more of a walrus, but I like the sea pig analogy because it does sound like a pig, like
it's
oinking.
A sea pig. I want to hear that again. I'm with you. It's probably a walrus.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Nope, it's a seal.
Oh! Why does the seal sound like that? And I like we have like the cutest little snapshot of a seal.
I've heard seals before. They don't sound like pigs. What? I disagree.
Maybe it's a specific type of seal that has the sound has been acquired, because I could see maybe a sea lion, like a larger built sea lion, you know? Because I think that looks like a baby. It looks just like a baby, you know, like a fully grown seal.
Maybe, okay. Sounded like a sea pig. Moving on.
That's a better name.
No points. Let's see. What?
I'm gonna need to hear that one more time, please.
That's got to be a whale. Like this whale sonar underwater.
Yeah.
Noise.
I will also concur with you because I'm trying to think of like any other sort of ocean animal, and that's all I have.
That's like just kind of what it sounds like because it's so muffled and they only make noises underwater like that. Could you imagine being like underwater and hearing that though? That is an ominous noise.
That'd be scary.
Like,
it almost kind of reminds me of a tornado, like where it's like you hear the train before like the tornado.
The tail end of that sounds like a child, and I hate it.
I'm not a fan of this sound. I hope they all don't sound like this, whatever creature this is, because scary.
It's a baby whale.
No, it's
not.
Baby
because the end of it sounds like a child.
Okay, I'm just gonna whale.
It is a whale. Oh my god!
We got one! Yay!
That is not good whale audio. I will say that
it's not nearly as
terrifying.
Majestic. So like some people make it sound so majestic. Okay, if that's what they really sound like, that absolutely not
majestic at all. My gosh, that was scary. Okay. Please don't sound as scary as the last one.
I've heard that noise before.
I've heard that noise. I would guess that to be a penguin.
Who does clicking? Oh, a dolphin. A dolphin.
You're right.
I'm thinking this one's a dolphin.
That I agree. That is a dolphin clicking. Yeah, it is.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's so weird because it was such a familiar noise, but also like, what?
Yeah, so I'm like, I've heard that, but where have I heard that?
Yeah, yes. A dolphin. That made sense. That audio was so much better because it sounded like a dolphin. So I'm gonna rip on that whale noise all night. That woof.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
All right, what's next?
Walrus.
That's walrus. Just indigestion right there. That's not an animal. What the heck? It's like intense grunting.
Yeah, I'd almost want to say like a sea lion or oh shoot, what did I say it was? Walrus. Yeah, walrus. But I'm going walrus, hands down.
I don't know.
Chips are down.
Yeah, I feel like also a lot of these animals, like, they have to be kind of ones that come out of the water, or else how would you hear them, you know? Because like you don't hear
unless they have
fish.
sonar like the whales. You can put things in the ocean to hear them.
I guess. I'm trying to think of another animal so I can guess a different animal. But I'll guess.
The thing.
No, I'll guess sea lion. Because you said walrus. So I'll see if this is a sea lion grunting. Boom! I was right!
I literally said that too, and I was like,
what does it say? I have ears unlike seals. Oh yeah, they do. That's why sea lions are so cute. I mean, seals are too.
Wow.
But sea lions have little ears on the side of their head.
My gosh.
Oh my god.
Should have worked with animals.
Oh, I am 1 point ahead.
By default.
By default. That's fair. Okay. But I'll take it.
I would too.
That just sounds like thunder.
Sounds like it's underwater. Like when you have water in your ears.
Uh-huh. What is that though? It's like a distinct... Do you hear like the thumping noise?
Yeah.
It's like they put a microphone underwater and something was tapping it. There was like a thump.
Listen, I have no clue what the heck this is.
I'm going to guess shark.
Oh, well, that's a good one. Oh shoot. What could this be? There's so many choices.
Do sharks actually make noises?
I have no idea.
I'm so
I will, because it definitely has to be underwater, because it sounds like the mic's underwater. So it has to be an only water animal.
Is the little thumping noise its noise? Is it like making that noise with like its throat or something?
That's all I could gather. I have no idea. I'm just gonna say octopus. No, squid.
Squid. Okay.
Squid, because that's a fully underwater animal.
Yeah.
But that's it.
What the heck?
I don't think that's right. I think they
a cod? It's a cod?
I almost said some sort of fish, but I'm like, I don't know what fish.
No, this was just someone stuck a microphone underwater and this cod was trying to eat it or something. I don't think cod just make little noises. This was something thumping a microphone. No.
Okay. Anyway.
Whatever.
I'm not a fan.
It's closer to a shark than a squid though, right?
Yeah, I would say.
I'm not going to eke out half a point for that, but I could.
No way.
It was a cod, and I never would have guessed that.
Not a clue.
Okay, moving. That sounds like a dolphin. But we already did dolphin.
Yeah, but I wonder if like there's different types of species of dolphin, but I was almost thinking like a penguin. This one sounds like, because it's not a seagull, that's for sure.
There's a bottlenose dolphin.
I was gonna say, but we should have had some clearer rules. Are there different types of species of animals in this game?
Right, yeah. I didn't know if there's gonna be repeats. But that sounds like, it sounds like a water chainsaw trying to start up.
Yeah. I hate to be a copycat, but I too would go like.
It sounds like a dolphin, though.
Well, because is the OG like the one that we just saw with the dolphin? Is that a bottlenose? Isn't that what it is?
I don't know. I know. They have to look different, but I don't know if I could tell them apart because I don't spend a lot of time around dolphins.
Yeah,
but same. I feel like they do have to make different noises, right? I think it's a bottlenose.
Yeah, I'll go with that by default.
I'm scared to look.
Yeah.
What? It's a narwhal?
Okay. Okay.
What?
Wow.
Where do you even find narwhal? How do you even have time to listen to what a narwhal sounds like? Where are they even native to?
Well, it looks like that's almost could be Antarctica, Alaska. I would probably say Antarctica because it's colder, but
who would have ever guessed narwhal? They are beautiful creatures, but they sound a lot like a dolphin.
They're probably in the dolphin family.
I'll look that up.
All right,
later.
let's get this next one.
Yeah, okay. Woof.
Of course. I know what that is. I know exactly what that is.
Do you remember on Toy Story when Woody and Buzz are stuck in Sid's room and there's the creature that he's made that's a pair of Barbie legs on like a mini
with the
fishing hook?
Yes.
That's the noise of her walking.
Oh, I cannot unhear that now.
That's the toy that Sid made. It's just Barbie legs and a fishing rod.
Yeah, Emperor Penguin. That's all I got. Final answer.
Oh. I don't have a good answer. That is such a weird noise.
It's a very odd noise.
I'm gonna say tuna because apparently fish make noises.
Yeah, I think it's a good guess.
Tuna fish.
What is this game? This is absurd. Okay.
Apparently that noise comes from a spiny lobster.
Okay.
Who took the time to be like, I'm gonna put a microphone next to this lobster and see if it makes noises?
Marine biologists, apparently. Wow.
Again, never would have guessed that. I mean, I did guess something absurd, but I've never heard a lobster make a noise, I guess.
Okay.
I'm super intrigued now about what all other water life sounds like. Like, this has definitely opened me up to being like, I need to go listen to what krill sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm curious what a bass sounds like. Or an
Shark
octopus.
Tales did not prep me for this game.
No, definitely not. I thought shark sounded like Jack Black. I would be wrong. Moving on. Underwater Galaga?
I was gonna say it kind of sounds like Star Wars, like
it's definitely sonar. Yeah. It's like echoing. Like an underwater bat.
I am so unprepared for this.
Michael Morbius. Final answer.
I'm gonna say, because I have no better guess, the fish that attracts other fish with the light.
An angler?
Yeah. Just because that's all I got. That's all I got in the brain to do something different.
What other animals use sonar besides like a whale and a dolphin?
I don't think shark.
It's a beluga whale.
Oh, that's a solid guess, actually.
Because I don't know what other animals use sonar, but I know belugas, and because it's whale. Whales do. Well, dolphins do. And I'm just gonna guess it's a different species of whale. I'm gonna say it's a beluga whale. What did you say?
The fish
angler?
That has
angler
light.
Fish.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
I can't. I thought I was doing good. I'm out. I'm head out.
What is a Weddle seal? I've never even heard of it.
So I've seen these, but I didn't realize it was a different type of seal. I just call them seals.
Yeah, I guess it does look familiar. I've never heard the name Weddle. It's a Weddle seal.
I guess the phrase of oceans of possibilities is very real because there's many possibilities for these animal sounds.
Yeah, apparently lobsters make noises. Wait, so like,
Wow.
was that like a sonar sort of? It was like
That had to be
clicky, underwater
underwater.
sonar.
Definitely had to be underwater.
It sounded sonar-y. I can't justify any of my guesses. What, is this the last one? It might be. I don't like whatever was happening in my ear.
It was fine, and then it got weird.
It was like a weird screaming, and then like little pitter patter of feet, and then the screaming got worse, and the feet got really, really fast, like something was running.
All right,
That's
squid.
what I was hearing.
Squid.
No,
because
you know
I was
what?
thinking I was thinking penguin because of the almost sounds like a waddling kind of noise, but now I'm just saying squid because the creepy screeching.
I was gonna try to guess something with a lot of feet, but you know, I think I'm gonna say seahorse.
Ooh.
No idea why. I'm not even gonna listen to it again. That was not a good noise in my ear.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A whale. It was a type of whale.
Okay.
A pilot whale. He's cute. He kind of looks like a beluga, but in gray.
He's cute, but your sound is not so cute.
Your sound sounds like creepy little feet pitter pattering around.
Yeah, I'd be scared if I heard that underwater.
Oh, there is another
is there
one.
more?
There's another one. I don't know how many more of these are. We will have to start pumping these out quickly. Speed. It sounds like a really determined cat that like wants petted now.
Yeah.
This is a penguin noise.
You think so?
For sure.
It sounds like a cat.
It's got to be a penguin.
Well, I'm going to say squid just for the heck of it. You go penguin. I'm telling you, squid has to be on here.
It's another seal. This is the third seal.
How many seal species are there?
A lot, apparently. This is a harp seal. Okay. What? It's pretty. Okay. It's got lots of little spots.
Cutie patootie for sure.
All right, next. This is like what the cop was making.
Is this a trout?
It sounds like a UFO.
They're coming to get us.
Ugh, I don't like the pulsating in my ear. I'm
trying to think of what other fish are in the ocean. Trout is a lake fish.
It's an octopus.
Salmon goes up river.
It's an octopus.
Does it go to oceans?
No. You know what? I'll say seahorse again. I don't know. Seahorse.
I'll say tuna. I'll say tuna. I got nothing better.
All right.
Those are in the ocean.
It's
okay.
It's a whale. That doesn't even look like the picture of this whale. It looks like the wing of a ship that landed in the water, or like a UFO.
It kind of reminds me of a
water.
Submarine.
It's very like flat looking.
Emerging.
It's a mink whale or a minky whale.
Wow.
We're not doing too good.
Well,
I feel like we're starting out strong, and then there's just too many whale and seal noises for us to get these right. I think we
apparently don't know my seals.
Oh, same. What are those one seals that have like really big noses? They got like an elephant seal.
I was gonna say, well, it sounds like it's dragging something.
It's an elephant seal.
I'm gonna say walrus. Because I'm trying not to copy your answers.
Oh my god! It's a manta shrimp. If you have never read about manta shrimp, y'all know. They're incredible. They can see 16 different light spectrums when humans can only see like 6 or 4. I think we can see 4 or 6. They can see 16, and they walk so fast, the water around them boils. And they can punch with their little leggy things on the front. They can punch other creatures so hard. It is the equivalent of a bullet leaving a gun. and they
Oh
are
my
only
gosh.
6 inches long.
Wow. I apparently don't know my shrimp either.
I would never have thought that it sounded as crazy as it sounded.
Wow.
But yes,
Wow.
oh my gosh, Manta Shrimp are so cool. Okay. Gotta keep going.
That's a UFO.
That's a legit UFO. I'm gonna say dolphin. Oh, that is wild.
I'm gonna say beluga whale because that hasn't been said, or
that
at least as an option.
Wild noise.
Wow.
A bearded seal.
Of course it's a seal. Why would it not be a seal?
What did I say? Did I say whale?
Though. I said whale, yeah.
What did I say? I don't remember. I said dolphin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no points, but he is amazing. That is a great beard on that seal.
Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Great look, dude.
We have learned it's either a weird fish, a shrimp, or it's like in the lobster shrimp family. It's a whale or a dolphin.
I don't hear anything.
It's just like vibrating. It sounds like someone put a subwoofer underwater.
Okay, I got it.
It was just vibrating. Yeah.
A prawn. It's a shrimp. Or... I don't know.
No. This has got to be.
It's got to be a shrimp.
No. What's the name of that shark that's real flat and has a really long mouth?
Oh.
What are those called?
Oh shoot! I know what you're talking about, but they're not.
It's not a real shark.
Oh, I can't give you the name, but I have the visual though.
Yeah. We'll find out very quickly that I'm wrong. It's a blue whale. Gosh dang it! I thought the first one we listened to
bad audio.
I thought the first one we listened to was a blue whale, but you know what? It was probably a humpback. Whales are incredible. Every single whale has a different noise, a different call, and we can't discern any of them.
Nope.
We aren't marine biologists. Nope.
I want to say it's a whale, but I really want it to be a walrus. So I'm going to say walrus.
I was also going to say walrus. Yeah. I give up.
I guess the toad part makes sense because it did kind of sound like it was croaking. I mean,
it did. I have never heard of an oyster toadfish.
That guy looks like he needs a bath.
I would have never. It did though sound like a toad making noise, like a frog.
So I get it.
It does. It is a very fitting sound for this creature. Yeah. And was
That's depressing.
That was our last one. He's got the sources
on screen
where he got these from. That was incredibly hard, and I did not expect it to be hard.
Listen, I was thinking, like whale, seagull, penguin, like
right?
tuna.
In my mind, I'm like, I know what whales, dolphins sound like. I know what a seal sounds like. Apparently we don't, because there's 19 different species of whales, dolphins, and seals, and apparently cod make noise.
I've learned a bunch, to say the least. A bunch.
I am fully impressed by marine biologists and their determination and finding the noises that creatures make. That's incredible.
Honestly, well done, Nathan, for compiling.
This was so much fun. The standing is Ariel has 2 points, and I bring it home with 3, so I win, but not by much. And
congratulations!
I think we got that within the first 4. out of all of these. So
yeah, yeah. Then it went.
did
We
not
took
do very well.
a really low.
But oh my goodness. Let me
Wow.
pull up my screen.
Wow. Wow. Just wow. I mean, there's just no other
Yeah,
way to
wow.
say it.
Just
Just
wow.
wow.
Oh, there we
Learn
go.
learn some things. Oh yes, yes. We
I
do
wanted to
have
make sure we
a
did this.
little time.
We do not have a ton of time left. We rambled and rambled and rambled, and then we listened to some really awesome animal noises. But it is
Yes.
time. We probably need to wrap up this episode. It's actually longer than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be small, but we talked a lot about hair. I don't know.
Books.
Books. Yeah. So Nathan so kindly today was able to put together a word detective because we almost didn't have one today. But we do have one. The word for July is, if you're new to this podcast and this is the first ending you've seen, every month, the end, we do something called Word Detective. So Nathan gives us a really random word that we've never heard of, and then we have to deduce what we think its meaning is using just a few clues. So July's word is whelk.
All right, whelk.
Yeah, it is well with a K at the end. Elk, but add a W. Whelk. All
right.
I feel like I've heard this word before. Whelk.
This would be new.
I've definitely heard this.
All right, let's get into it. Let's see what we got.
Clue number 1. Please don't be salty. Whelk is a noun used for the first time, or at least recorded, before the 12th century. So it was used just before the Second and Third Crusades, as well as before the Genpei War in Japan.
Okay. Well, I think there's a play on words with the salt, but I don't understand.
I do believe it has something to do with ships.
Unless it's the process of like salting your meat so you preserve it essentially. That's all I can currently equate to.
I feel like it has something to do with rigging or ships or water, which would be very fitting. Oceans of possibilities.
Yes. I say let us continue.
Yes. Clue number 2. All of these pictures relate to whelk, but how? Okay. There's a picture of someone with a zit. A picture of someone in the Marines. Gary the snail.
Maybe we're only supposed to see the military. Because if it was war, maybe I don't know. What the heck?
But that's a specific uniform, isn't it? Isn't that the Marines?
I'm pretty sure it is. No, I'm pretty confident it's the Marines. But I don't know if the Marina. That's what I'm trying to find, if it's a connection between Marines
a picture of Gary the snail, and then there's on the side just a black and white swirl, which probably could be any color. So it's just swirls.
I wonder if it's a sore, a conflict, a pimple. What are other names for that?
Is that like a scurvy sort of situation?
Could be.
But what does that have to do with whelk? I've heard this word. Does it mean something like it has Gary the snail, but there's also like a swirl on the other side. So does it have something to do with like swirls like he has on the side of a shell, or does it have something to do with snails in particular? Like snails are called whelk or something?
Oh, if that's true, I did not know.
Or like a barnacle on the side of a ship.
This one is all you.
I am trying really hard. I've heard this word before. Let's go to the third clue. A tiny whelk was a brilliant shade of orange as it scooted around its tank. It is. It's like a snail creature.
So it's just another name for a snail? But underwater snail?
It's like a different type. It's called a whelk. I am trying to think. It could be like a barnacle. Maybe.
It's not related to coral, right? Or like where the gross, slimy stuff behind snails?
That's as far as my knowledge goes, I guess.
It almost seems like something that leaves a trail. Because if it was doing the spiral and then it's like a snail is after it, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. This one's a good one, Nathan.
Yeah, this is cool because I think it is like an underwater creature, so it fits quite well with the theme this whole month. But yes, let's see what this is. A whelk. Any of numerous large marine snails used as food in Europe. Pustule or
ew,
like a boil or pimple. What?
People eat this?
It can mean two different things.
Oh.
Okay. So it has like this picture of this rather large snail that has a siphon, an eye spot, a proboscis for eating, probably, a tentacle. But okay, so this noun means two different things. It could mean a large marine snail, which is used as food, or it could mean a boil or pimple.
So, I mean, once you see this, I see the connection between the images, but trying to come up with that from images was not working out for me today.
That's what, I don't know where I've heard it, but I've definitely heard of whelk, and it makes sense that it's like a large snail. I have heard of a whelk before. Okay, according to I can't even read that.
Oh man.
Kids.com. Maybe he can link that word because I can't say it.
Mollusca.
This is where he has information from anyways. The whelk is a sea snail from the family Boxinidae that has elegantly spiraled shells and when properly cooked, tender and succulent meat. It's popular in Europe where it's commonly served at seaside stands in Britain on seafood platters at, I can't even pronounce that word.
Brasseries?
Brasseries. In France, where it's known as burgot, and in pasta dishes and salads in Italy, where the larger varieties are called scungilli. I'm butchering all of these words.
Yeah.
Whelks are carnivores. Mainly they feed on worms, crustaceans, mussels, and other mollusks. Shells and armors of their prey. Shells and armors of their prey. The whelk drills holes into to eat the soft interior. I've read that, yes.
Whoa.
So they drill holes into their enemies and then pull their squishy, yummy bits out.
Oh, gnarly.
Yeah.
Ooh. Gross.
That is creepy.
I mean, I'm excited that we learned something new. I had no idea that existed.
Do you ever just looking, like y'all just listening to this need to look up whelk online so you can see it? But they're just giant snails. Could you imagine picking this up out of the water and be like, ooh, yummy, dinner?
Oh, gosh. I also am not a fan of snail, like escargot. People it's a delicacy in some places, but I just can't get into it.
It doesn't feel like food to me.
No.
But
wow.
I'm intrigued, and I feel like I kind of got that. I got pretty close on that.
That was all you. I was no help today, whatsoever.
Heard of a whelk before. I used to watch a lot of Animal Planet though, so maybe that's where it comes from. Stems from. I don't know.
Well, we did learn a bunch. We talked. We learned. We promoted. I mean,
a very interesting episode. Take what you will from it. Hopefully, you now can identify several different whales, dolphins. And
shrimp. Don't forget the shrimp.
The shrimp, and a cod.
Yeah, can't.
So if you're ever out diving and you're just like, "What's that thumping noise?" I think that's a cod. That was dumb. I can't even stay with the bit. It was dumb. All right.
I loved it. That was great.
We're done.
We're signing off. Thank you for joining us for another Harris-Elmore and Genoa Libraries podcast with me, Ariel and Sierra. Goodbye.
Bye.